Perhaps you have heard about the latest in internet politics. Internet users have started locating personalities they don't like in real life and throwing milkshakes at them, usually while they're giving a speech. To be precise, the method seems to involve slinging only liquid at people rather than throwing cups or bottles at them. Just a detail that I think is worth taking note of. There doesn't seem to be any other way of expressing your desire to trigger the UKIPs than by tossing a milkshake on, say, Sargon of Akkad or Nigel Farage. I guess you could consider it the equivalent of pausing the video so you can verbally wreck them at your own pace. Well anyway, regardless, the day of the milkshake has finally arrived. We will soon see the outcome of the elections in the UK, which polls show the Brexit Party in the lead and UKIP at the very bottom with no apparent chance to win a seat. If you are unfamiliar, there is a YouTube commentator by the username of Sargon of Akkad that has recently been a point of controversy in the media for comments he made years ago. Due to the fact that Sargon lives in what I would describe as a crypto caliphate, he has taken criticism by the BBC, the Daily Mail, and others for saying that he wouldn't even pillage the village, so to speak, of a female politician. In his appearance with Victoria Derbyshire, he was treated as if he had just walked out onto the set in the nude. The amount of vitriol from media figures towards Sargon of Akkad seems really strange to me, considering the type of people they typically associate with. There have been a lot of people laughing at Sargon's expense, rightfully so. I have hardly seen any criticism of the way the media is acting. Now, I know this is the media, but still, even by the standards they have set by their actions in the past, even by those standards, this is really, really low. Considering the long list of ridiculous things Sargon has said in the past, it is so strange to see so much fixation on this one Jess Phillips thing. What's really sad is that no one would even know who Jess Phillips was if Sargon had said he wouldn't even have his way with her. Imagine being a person whose only claim to fame is having someone say that they wouldn't even forcibly love you. The real irony about all of this is right now, Joe Biden, the guy that is an aggressive cuddler, that guy is in first place as the Democratic candidate in the polls. So compare that to the outrage you're seeing in the UK media about a throwaway tweet from like 2 or 3 years ago. But when it's Joe Biden actually being a creep, suddenly they're silent. Oh, isn't the UK media the same media that remained entirely, eerily silent when there were gangs of people just going around and, let's just say, having their way with any woman they came across? The media wouldn't even touch it. They didn't talk about it at all, but when somebody made a joke that offended some nobody in politics, suddenly it became the centerpiece of all of their coverage for the next few weeks. Really makes you think, doesn't it? As the media propelled one histrionic hit piece after another, people began throwing milkshakes at one another, leading to the police telling McDonald's that they needed to not sell milkshakes for a while, just until things calmed down, This led to Burger King tweeting out that they were still in the milkshake game. They were still selling milkshakes, encouraging people to come for them for their latest sudden craving. Nigel Farage was also milkshaked, rightfully so, a likely reminder that he shares more in common with Sargon of Akkad than he would like to believe. Now, is it that they don't like outsiders getting into politics, or is it that they just really don't like Sargon? Could it be both? They have been cheap in every way, making each appearance on television a massive joke. Sargon has not gotten a fair hearing at all, and they know it. Still, they bring up the same thing over and over and over again, almost to wear him down. They're not even giving him the respect to talk about tech censorship or anything else that matters. Sargon is going to be used as an example to any other person on the internet that is interested in making a change in the world through politics, that they are not welcome. The powers that be, the people that run the media and run the circus of politics, They don't like new people trying to assert themselves on what they consider their territory. It has been difficult to gather any righteous indignation in the name of Sargon of Akkad when I am reminded of the short-sighted shenanigans that he engaged in shortly after announcing his intention to enter politics. Some of you might remember a while back when Sargon went around accusing a user by the name of Mr. Medicare of being a groomer, using the internet to recruit children into his army of trolls. Yeah, Sargon was actually going on to live streams and podcasts and telling everyone that this man, more commonly known as Jim, was some sort of digital big boss. Although quickly refuted by a quick screenshot of Jim's YouTube age analytics, Sargon would only softly walk back the accusation, saying that the term grooming had a different connotation in the UK.
I think we've established exactly the way that my good friend Jim works. He finds a group of young kids and then encourages them to join him on his escapades. And again, I'm going to call this grooming because that's exactly what it is. When a guy who's nearly 30 goes to a bunch of kids that are 14 and encourages them to do things.
I think the pedo thing was upsetting for people.
That's because they don't really know the definition of the word. That's all.
Of grooming?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you?
Yeah,
Sean,
but like
what do
if
you
you
think
say
when you hear
this person's grooming children, nobody thinks, he's teaching them how to do their taxes and how to fill out their resumes.
Nobody thinks you're talking about doing their hair.
No, I think
This is quite frankly BS, and it's one of the reasons that I find difficulty in having sympathy for Sargon, considering the gauntlet that the dishonest media has been making him run through. There is also the example of trying to get Andy Worski deplatformed by retweeting an account tagging YouTube and the FBI, which included a screenshot of what I guess they considered to be problematic super chats. There's an old saying, a quote from Mark Twain, "Never argue with idiots. People from the outside won't be able to tell the difference." In Sargon, if you're going to be better than that, if you're going to be above things like that, you have to actually be above things like that. There is a lot of Sargon lore. In fact, depending on how dedicated I would be to tackling the topic, this video could be anywhere from 10 to an hour and a half long. And if you're interested in a more comprehensive video about Sargon of Akkad, I would encourage you to watch Porsalin's documentary, a feature-length YouTube video on Sargon of Akkad. Very well produced, far above anything I could ever hope to create on this platform, so definitely check out Porsalin, and if you're interested, check out the Sargon of Akkad documentary. I believe it's called The Sargonian Effect. It's very, very well done. A few things got off a little bit, but it's top-notch. The elections are very, very soon, and who knows what really lies in store for the UK. The media has been wrong before, and no matter what happens, there are some interesting things in store for us all. Hey, I just wanted to promote a few things of mine real quick. First, I have the IBS Awards coming up this weekend. It will be during the day, my time on Saturday. The specific time will come Saturday when I schedule the live stream. If you're interested in it, it will be a highlights and award show about 2 hours long, and we plan to take a look at the best and the worst of that subgenre on YouTube. Also, I have been uploading less frequently lately, and I need to keep things fresh, so I will be changing things up just a bit, but returning to making videos. I will also be making video game related content on Player One and streaming games to Player One live streams, working on a Rage 2 review, a game that I just finished today, and I recorded some decent footage for it as well. I would also like to thank those of you that support the channel through Patreon, Super Chats, during the midnight show, Teespring, or even just watching and sharing the show link. I appreciate it. I also recently started a new Project 2 account, which I will leave a link to in the description below. This allows people who don't want to use Patreon to be able to contribute if they choose to do so. Feel free to contact me on Twitter if you have any suggestions on things you'd like me to cover. Sure, I know it might seem lazy to ask people to bring you content to cover, but I've been finding myself less motivated by things that I come across myself, so I'm trying to get a feel for what the audience is interested in hearing about. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Take me home, country roads. All my memories gather round her.